both Mario Andretti and Scott Goodyear out of the fight. We'll be back. Now, moments ago, Mario Andretti and Scott Goodyear, the two participants in that accident, as they tried to discuss it out. Then Gary talked with them.
Scott, you had an animated conversation here with Mario now. Is everything patched up, or tell us what happened from your seat?
Well, I mean, it's a situation that, you know, it's one of those racing deals, I guess, that going on the inside. I mean, trying to get clear and trying to run out. And, you know, I think you have to give each other room when you're in that scenario, because especially when you're off the pace. I mean, I was off the pace, and the guys that are faster for me, I allow them lots of room. I stay up high, lots of room on the bottom. And, you know, there's another guy or a bunch of group of guys that are a little bit slower. They should give room to the fast guys and maybe guys that are in that medium bracket. So, I mean, we didn't come to any conclusion on that scenario because I think we both have a difference of opinion on it. But, you know, lo and behold, it's the way it is. It's one of the racing deals. We're going to get on with it, I guess.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Boy, that's what this whole business of mile racing is all about. That was a pretty good graphic example of it, I'd say.
A lot of damage to the McKenzie car. Mario Andretti was 3 laps behind Goodyear at the time of the accident. Let's go to Jan.
Well, Paul, because of that incident, the cars were led for 3 or 4 laps right here through the pit lane. That put everybody in the pit lane in a tizzy because they get all their telemetry from a beacon from outside when they're on the track. So everyone wanted to make fuel calculations under the yellow, but they didn't get any readings from their cars. Just the last 2 laps they put back out on the racetrack. So now all of a sudden, boy, now we know how much fuel we have. One other thing, everybody in the Penske team was saying, how many laps is the race? How many laps is the race? Because they saw on the sheet 211 miles. They wanted to make sure it was only 200 laps. Paul?
Well, I'll tell you what we do before the days of the computers. We are under yellow. Paul Tracy, Emerson Fittipaldi, and Nigel Mansell line up in that order. We'll be back with the green flag. Back at the New England 200, about a lap away from the green. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Interesting, that British sense of humor of points leader Nigel Mansell, as Nigel was coming down here along pit road as they were bringing the entire field by, clearing turn 4. He was waving to the crew, and on the radio he said, you'd think these guys would show me a little more respect on my birthday. He's happy with the way the car is handling. I think we're going to see a great shootout here in these remaining laps, Paul.
You mean the crew didn't wave back at him?
They love this guy. They're so impressed. We talked with the crew earlier about how he's adapted to the ovals. You pointed it out at the open of the show. He's been amazingly good as a rookie.
Now he adapts to everything. Paul Tracy leads them back to green flag, followed by Emerson Fittipaldi and Nigel Mansell. As the green come out, there's also a battle between Roberto Guerrero and Robbie Gordon that developed simultaneously, 1 lap behind the lead for 4th place. But the key battle, it's at the front of the field, not only for this race, but for points.
And the key to that battle is there is no traffic ahead of Paul Tracy or Emerson Fittipaldi. That's what they need to mix this up in the last run. But there is no traffic now for at least, I would say, 10 laps.
Green came out on the 157th lap.
We have the luxury here of seeing the lap speed that everybody does as they go by. So now that they're all in clear traffic, we can get a good indication of who is fast. On Emerson, on the last lap, was quicker than Tracy and Mansell.
Average speed of the race, 123.9 miles an hour. 10 miles an hour now slower than last year's average, owing to the yellows. Last year, there were 3 caution periods for 30 laps. At the first race here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Beautiful facility. Beautiful day here in New England.
Tracy runs away at the start. He's very aggressive. 2 laps into it, you see Emerson warms everything up, begins to draw away from Mansell, and draws himself up behind Paul Tracy. He was 1 mile an hour faster than Tracy on the last lap. So he is, as he says himself, and as he seems to know, he does have the fastest car in the race.
So Tracy, Fittipaldi, the Penske team. Battle here. Mario Andretti, by the way, as soon as he broke off his conversation with Scott Goodyear, headed behind the wall and back into the privacy of his own compound, away from Gary Gerald while he was talking with Scott Goodyear. So we couldn't talk with him.
That's Johnny Unser still running out there, gaining value. valuable mileage. They did manage to get that oil leak fixed. Obviously, he's back out there running very slowly, but staying out of everybody's way. And Marco Greco, we saw him spin earlier. Luckily, he's still in the race, gaining valuable experience.
Well, they had reported him out of the race. Obviously, he's back in. Paul Tracy, Fittipaldi, Boesel, first, second, third. Mansell now closes on Fittipaldi. The battle between Roberto Guerrero and Robbie Gordon broken off for the moment. The order remains the same. Guerrero in fourth, Gordon in fifth. Scott Brayton runs in sixth, followed by Allinger Jr., Bobby Rahal, Brian Till, and Jimmy Vasser. Well, it seems like every time Vasser gets in a car on the track, he is really able to stay in the top 10 and stay in the fight.
He is, I believe, one of the talents that really hasn't surfaced yet. He's very quick when he ran for Mid-Atlantic. Hasn't had what I would call a stable situation yet. Not quite sure what car he's going to drive. Changed from the Chevrolet to the Ford engine. I think when you put a stable situation under Jimmy Vasser, you will see his talent begin to blossom and bloom.
Well, and that team is beginning to fall together nicely with great plans for next year, so you may see just exactly that situation. Olivier Griard, he is into the pits. This is a stop-and-go penalty for passing under the yellow flag.
Sometimes it's difficult for a driver to deal with this type of thing. The more competitive you are, the more difficult it is to deal with it. But Olivier Griard, nice and easy, down into the pit lane, and away he goes again.
And he is not the only one that will be so penalized. Also, Willie T. Ribbs and Stefan Johansson, same penalty. Same reason.
Tracy showing the maturity that we all wanted to see from him. He knew he had the speed, but he didn't have the control to do these long races without making the critical mistakes. So many races he had in his own pocket in situations just like this that he would actually make the move instead of backing off. Now he is showing the type of maturity that I think Rick Mears has had a hand in putting into him. See, Stefan Johansson got the black flag.
That was the black flag. We indicated he would receive it and come in for a stop and go, and Paul Tracy tried to wave him out of the way. And Willie T coming back up to speed after his penalty.
He's got his done. Willie T several laps down, but still running reliably. But Mansell not able to just close the gap down on these two Penske cars.
168 laps complete. The point standings at the moment. But of course, there is some distance yet to go. Nigel Mansell would continue his lead.
Don't underestimate the assistance Rick Mears gives Paul Tracy. I was down during one of the practice sessions, and Rick Mears actually called some of the engineering shots on this car. They discussed it among themselves, but I actually saw Rick Mears say, I think you should do this. It was actually camera on the left wheel. They did it, and out he went again. So Mears, well able to call the shots. Of course, he's done this for so long and been so successful. He knows what these cars like on these 1 mile ovals.
The front end compresses now as they encounter traffic. Watching from Bobby Rahal's car now, the purpose here as we run in eighth is to see if he has managed to lower the line down and use that low groove. Without question he does.
Oh, look at this.
And here comes a battle for the lead as Fittipaldi moves to the inside. Tracy holds him off on the high side as they split off.
And we said it earlier, you need traffic to begin to mix this up, but look what Mansell, the advantage he got. Look at this, trying to go down the inside.
That little battle slowed the leaders down, gave Mansell the opportunity to close in, and he took advantage of it.
Look at this, look at Mansell now. Here he goes, here he goes.
Mansell makes the move for the inside alongside Fittipaldi. Battle for second, very close quarters. Brian Till in there.
You see what Mansell did? He was over the yellow line, but look, he's got a good head of steam into 3.
Momentum counts for everything on the mile ovals. He's alongside Fittipaldi. Holds the position, moves into second place.
Pure driving talent and daring. He made the move at one, didn't pull it off. Look at the back markers try and move violently out of the way to let the leaders through.
And look how conscious he is of those other cars there as he moves gently away from Brian Till and continues to move ahead and now sets pursuit on Paul Tracy. So Nigel Mansell, with a quick move, comes into second place. We'll be back. Back at the New England 200, 175 laps of 200 complete, and Nigel Mansell is on the move. He just moved around Emerson Fittipaldi. Now he sets his sights on Paul Tracy, and Paul Tracy is just a little under a straightaway ahead, and now they are in contact. As he moves around Johansson, it is clear sailing up to Tracy. Here is the move that got Mansell into second place.
Now watch what happens here. Mansell goes down below the yellow line. Right there, he's on the pit road. Now he drifts high. Fittipaldi's stuck. Mansell has a head of steam on right here. He acts right up onto Fittipaldi's wing and slices down the inside into 3. A great move by Nigel Mansell.
He comes up high, keeps the car rolling. Still a cracked lens on his car, but the rest of the car running perfectly as he runs in second place, 1.3 seconds behind Paul Tracy. That's a little under a straightaway.
Tracy will be under pressure here. This is the type of situation that Tracy has faltered in the past. He has shown tremendous maturity, but the world champion is catching him and turning the pressure up.
Around Griard as they continue to work through traffic. Once again, a clear span between Nigel Mansell and Paul Tracy. And Mansell begins to reel him in. Now 0.7 of a second back.
You think that spurred Mansell on? Tracy goes around the outside of Greco. Mansell just did a lap of 104.64.5. He is now almost as quick as Fittipaldi for the fastest lap of the race.
Interval still at 0.7. They pull away from Emerson Fittipaldi as the interval widens out there. 180 laps complete, 20 to go. Again, traffic a factor. Mansell moves in. Around Willie T. Ribbs, back in contact with the leader.
This is what it's all about. The last lap, again, he was a little bit quicker than Paul Tracy. Now Paul Tracy throws one in a bit quicker than Mansell. So very evenly matched here.
They've been jogging back and forth at about 163.5 to 164.5 miles an hour, both very evenly matched.
Might joke on the radio to his crew, but it's no joke now. But Roger Penske obviously staying in close contact through the radio with his driver. He called the shots for Paul Tracy.
Everybody was saying, take it easy, Paul, don't lose your cool now.
He wasn't saying take it easy. He said, don't lose your cool, but don't let him by. Now it's Paul Tracy's turn to hold up the championship fight for his teammate Emerson.
Mansell down to 0.2. Jan Beekes, what is Roger saying?
Well, Paul, what he's saying is Paul, go ahead and put your car on full rich and put it in 5th gear. In other words, give it everything you have. We have enough fuel. Go for it. And we'll have to see if Mansell can stay with him.
The 5th gear reference is a gear with a little bit more torque.
Drops it down a gear, and he uses more revs. He moves the power band higher. More power, and you need more fuel to make more power. They seem to think they have enough. This, I bet looks like Mansell has probably done the same. This is a great fight.
Now traffic again. Mansell using